what's up guys? My name is Zack and today I am driving a 2023 Ford F-150 STX. Up front is a 2.7 liter turbocharged V6 and down below is a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this F-150 for two reasons. First of all, it's been almost an exact year since I had an F-150 Tremor as a press loan. And so I spent a week with that truck that had the 5-liter V8 and it was great. I really enjoyed it. However, this is the 2.7 V6, which is a more popular option and a more affordable option. So I'm excited to check that out. And the second reason is that this is a more affordable truck. This is a true workhorse truck. It is used for hauling day in and day out. And so this is a more realistic version of what you might find when looking for an F-150. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, just like this F-150, you can head on over to my website, zackpraedel.com. It's quick and easy, takes under a minute, and I come out to you. But let's get back to the reason we're here, the 2.7 liter turbo V6. It is the Ecoboost V6. However, there are several Ecoboost V6s that were offered for 2023. There was also the 3.5 liter and the 3.5 liter high output and the 3.5 liter paired to the hybrid system, which I have reviewed here on the channel as well if you'd like to check that out, known as the Power Boost. But this is the smallest engine offered, and it makes 325 horsepower and is still able to tow 10,000 pounds, which is no small task. Two big advantages of this engine. First of all, the fuel economy. The owner says that he averages a little over 20, which is fantastic for a full-size pickup truck, especially comparing it to the 5.0 liter Coyote motor V8 that gets maybe mid-teens if you're being nice to it. The other big advantage is that it's quiet. Driving this truck, I didn't even realize the engine was on. It felt electric, and that's how good and how quiet that little V6 is. It's not intrusive. You're going to be able to think your own thoughts while driving at highway speeds, which isn't always a guarantee with full-size trucks, and I like that a lot. I was very impressed with how quiet the cabin is because of that V6, and it's not trying to growl over your radio. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. It's fine. You can't find these in manual anymore, so auto is the only way to go. And last but not least, this particular STX F-150 is four-wheel drive. However, of course, you could option F-150s in rear-wheel drive if that's something that you wanted, or if you went with a more basic spec. How does it feel to drive the F-150 with the 2.7 Ecoboost? Well, obviously you are lacking quite a bit of power from the 5 liter. You notice that torque around town is missing. However, it's not completely gone, and this truck isn't a complete dud. It's actually more civilized. It actually seems happier and more normal around town, where the 5 liter V8 was always trying to hunt and always trying to poke you and push you and talk about the economy. No, this is just happy to be here and it's scooting around. Visibility is pretty good. I like the large windows of the F-150, always have, and I assume always will. The ride is nice as well. It's not an F-250 or 350, which can get pretty harsh. The ride quality is actually nice and simple, and again, helps out that quietness that I was loving with the engine. But with that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 6 physical gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer, off to the right is the speedometer, and up in the center, I do get my oil pressure, coolant temperature, fuel, and transmission temperature. I also do get a center screen. This is a smaller screen, and you could cycle through a couple different things. However, one of the biggest differences going from a 2023 to a 2024 is that the 2024 has a fully digital gauge cluster. So if that is something that you desire, you can get a 2024 with that. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our cruise control settings, lane centering, volume, and voice commands. And off to the right, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as menu, phone, and skip track. The overall steering wheel is basic. It is this sort of hard, plasticky feeling, which isn't amazing, but there are nicer steering wheels offered at higher trims if that matters to you. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, our headlight switches, gauge dimmer switches, and our power parking brake. And moving on to the door, we have lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we have our camera button, which is very, very nice. You can turn on the hitch view while driving, which is great. And when driving a larger vehicle, it's always good to have lots of camera options. We have the hazard switch and traction control off, and then the infotainment system itself. This is the more basic style. They do offer a larger infotainment seen here in the Tremor, if that's something that you would like, but I honestly don't mind the size of it, and screens are getting so big in trucks that this is actually kind of a breath of fresh air when it comes to not wanting a TV screen glued to the center of your pickup. So I actually kind of like it. Down below that, we have our volume, tune, skip track, play buttons, radio options there. And then we have our climate controls. Basic climate controls. We do not get dual zone climate, which would have been nice, but not the end of the world. And off to the left, we have our four-wheel drive settings. Pretty simple here for 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, as well as our drive mode select for normal, tow haul, eco, sport, slippery, deep snow and sand, mud and ruts. And that's it. So plenty of drive mode options. You just don't get the giant display of them like you do in more modern F-150s. Off to the right of the climate controls, we get a 12-volt outlet and a USB outlet. However, in upper trims, this will actually be a wall outlet, if that matters to you. And down below, we have 2 more USBs, USB-A and USB-C featured here in the F-150. Large cubby, and moving up the dash, we have another large cubby off to the left. And we have cup holders off to the right. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2023 F-150. And just like its Tremor older brother, it too passes the big friggin' bottle test. Then we have a center console, and we'll talk about the seats. Now, the driver's seat is covered by a seat cover because the owner does a lot of towing and hauling and working with a lot of products that might stain his clothes and seats. He put a cover on it. However, we can take a look at the passenger seat, and you can see the original cloth design, and it's nothing special. These are cloth seats. They're going to be a lot more basic seats. However, they're not uncomfortable. So, toss a seat cover on it if you're going to get them dirty and go to the party. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so to get in the back, we do have these little half doors, so you open up the front door, pull the handle here, and then you can open up the reverse opening back doors. Once we are in here, you do have a lot less space than the full crew cab F-150s, which have tons and tons and tons of space to the point where I could actually lay down between the front seats and the back seats. That is not the case here. Can you take extra people in here? Yes, kids will fit back here fine, but if you want to bring 4 full-size adults with you, I highly recommend seeking out the full 4-door F-150 as opposed to these little half doors, because this isn't great. I still do get climate vents back here, 12-volt outlet, and USB ports to charge back here, which is nice, but I personally would not want to ride back here for too long. However, speaking of space, let's go hop into the very back and talk about the bed. All right, around the back of the F-150, little handle here. No soft opening of any kind, and we do have tie downs at all 4 corners. However, nothing really beyond that. You do get this warning about not filling gas canisters in the bed because of static electricity, so there's that. But other than that, very, very basic bed. This is a Ford bed liner. Nothing really to write home about, but this is a basic truck. People want basic trucks, and so no outlet, no power tailgate, no things like that, but that helps keep the cost down, so that's what you get. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I really, really like the look of the 2023 F-150. I think it looks really nice. I think it looks modern enough, but it's always been identifiable as an F-150, which is always great to see. It's very iconic, and I do want to note for my European viewers, there's a statistic that always floats around that the F-150 is the most sold vehicle in America. And it's not wrong, but it actually encompasses all of the F-Series trucks into that statistic. So that's F-150, F-250, and F-350, which are purchased by businesses a lot. So I know a lot of Europeans think that we all drive F-150s, and while a lot of us do, it's not everyone. That statistic is a little bit skewed. I just figured I'd mention that for my international viewers, which I appreciate very much. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving an F-150 from 2023 with the Ecoboost 2.7? Well, I've really enjoyed my time with it. I always enjoy driving vehicles in their more basic specs because you really get down to the nitty-gritty pretty quick. Once all the bling and all the glamour is removed, you really figure out what a truck is like, and that's exactly what I have here today. People complain that there aren't really basic trucks available anymore. So in response, I raise you this. This is a pretty basic truck. Yes, it has decent features, like a screen and I guess some USB ports, but this is far from luxury, and that's okay. I think that's actually a good thing. People are also scared that the 2.7 liter is going to be too small, and I understand that argument on paper, but in practice, it really isn't. Driving it around, it does everything the 5 liter does, just getting better fuel economy doing it. It still can tow and haul nearly the same amount, and while I thought I would miss the 5 liter, besides the sound of it when you get on it, I really don't. So if anything, I hope that this video serves as a PSA to say, hey, basic trucks still do exist. They're still good, and you can easily find them. You just have to know where to look. Right now, I'm looking right at the Ford Motor Company. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Michael for letting me take out his F-150. Michael has been absolutely wonderful to work with. I was so excited to get behind the wheel of a more basic F-150, and Michael was able to help me do that, which I'm very appreciative of. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.